The topic of streaming services is common among most Americans, whether that be asking which platform we prefer, which one has the best shows, or the password sharing restrictions that are spreading across most services now. About 83% of Americans use streaming services, and that number continues to grow. But did you know that most services have had a price increase of more than 50% since 2020? Peacock and Paramount Plus have had a 60% increase on their base model, Netflix having a 100% increase, and Disney Plus with a 129% rise on their cheapest subscription. I personally believe that having too much of a price rise with far more restrictions on sharing is simply too much. The price of streaming services has increased too much to continue to support this, and I believe more people should cancel their streaming services to protest this. I will start by explaining the reasons why we need to discontinue our subscriptions. In an article by YouGov.com, uploaded September of this year, states that 49% of Americans have canceled their subscriptions in the last 6 months, with the main issue being cost increase. That same article points out that 3/4 of users base their subscription choice on the cost of the service alone, and another 31% signing up only because of the free trials that were offered. These numbers were based on a survey that they did with adults online. Of those who canceled, more than half canceled multiple services at a time. Another reason why you should cancel your streaming service is that there are more and more restrictions being added to your subscription with little to no warning. With the rising cost of streaming services, they are now offering cheaper options for those who do not wish to pay the difference. The cheaper options, however, are ad-supported, meaning to watch what originally was meant to be an alternative to cable, you must put up with what streaming services were originally created to combat. Another restriction being placed on people is having limited screens and devices connected to their accounts. However, Netflix originally aired out ads supporting password sharing and accounts with your family and friends, essentially turning their back on everything they built the company on. Lastly, the most alarming reason is that many streaming services is causing more Americans to partake in binge watching and causing a decrease in physical and mental health. Northwestern Medicine states that in the US, most users stream on average about 21 hours of digital media per week, which may not seem like a lot, but that is almost a seventh of your whole week solely spent on watching a show or a movie. That same article points out that the fact that if you are spending this substantial amount of time watching television, you'll be spending less time on being physically active, which would directly have an impact on your physical health. A study posted by Environmental Study and Public Health in August of 2022 concluded that binge watching was strongly connected with higher stress levels, anxiety, depression, and sleep problems. Now, let's move on to how you can start to discontinue your streaming services. The first step is knowing what services you are paying for and which ones you will cancel. Many people sign up for services with free trials and completely forget which service they are paying for, or they will sign up for a specific show or movie and intend to cancel after finishing said show or movie, but never get around to it. This is one of the biggest psychological tricks that streaming services use on consumers to get them to subscribe to the platform. In June of 2023, the Federal Trade Commission sued Amazon for tricking people into subscribing and making the cancellation process hard to complete. They settled for $18.5 million and as a result, changed the cancellation process for their subscriptions. Since it is so easy to forget which subscriptions you have signed up for, it is important to write down which subscriptions you save when the free trial ends and to remember when to cancel them. The next step towards canceling your streaming services would be to know which ones you intend to use and which ones you can do without. With binge streaming being on a rise, it is easy to simply just turn on your TV or open Netflix on your phone to relax after a long day of work or school. However, there are other cheaper options that you can use to relax. Some examples are talking with your loved ones, reading a book, playing with a pet, or simply taking some time to meditate and reflect on your day. All of these things are far better for your health and will overall make you feel better balanced with your life. With that said, it is highly unlikely that you will cancel every single service that you have. Make a list of every subscription you have and list reasons why you believe they are necessary. Chances are there won't be many left once you realize what else you could be doing with your time and how much money you could be saving. The final step is the biggest step of them all, which is actually canceling your services. While some streaming services may make it difficult, most are quite simple to cancel. Simply log into the streaming service, pull up your account, select Manage Account. From there, all you need to do is scroll down and select Cancel Membership. At that point, they may allow you to continue to stream until the end of the month or even send you offers to sign back up. During that time, it is important to start practicing the alternatives to streaming so you do not fall into their tactics. Now that the hardest part is done, you can enjoy more free time and extra money for other expenses. By taking part in canceling your streaming services, you are making a statement that you will not be controlled, you will not be continuing to pay more for less and better your future at the same time. More and more Americans are canceling their subscriptions, and companies are starting to notice. They are being forced to look at the declining numbers and revenue. As a result, they are having to change their policies and make changes for people. Netflix stocks tumbled by more than 20% in the first quarter of 2022 despite getting 8 million new subscribers. With more streaming services stock prices dropping, they are being forced to locate the issue and resolve it. However, it is impractical to believe that you will simply stop watching television and movies. So here are some free alternatives to streaming platforms: YouTube, Tubi, Roku channel, and Pluto TV. While these have a paid version with no ads, it is manageable to watch TV shows and movies on these platforms with minimal ads presented. Another option is to support your local library and rent out TV shows and movies from there. This allows you to watch and return media whenever you are done. At the same time, support the library to continue to offer services to the community. The final alternative is going old school and buying secondhand digital media from marketplaces, thrift stores, or garage sales. This allows you to get the media for cheap and recycles and rehomes perfectly good media. To end, the benefits of canceling your streaming services heavily outweigh the negatives of keeping them. The cost of streaming services and the added restrictions are simply growing by the year, and the effect on your health are increasing each day of binge watching you have. While it may not be easy to part ways with the most convenient way to relax after a long day, the reward is ever growing. Just remember, every month that passes with you paying is a month you could have had more memorable experiences, if not spent on the couch.